Qa'a, the last pharaoh of Egypt's first dynasty. Qa'a, an often overlooked pharaoh of ancient Egypt, ruled during the twilight of the first dynasty, a period marked by the foundational development of the Egyptian state. His reign, estimated to have been around the mid-29th century ontes, was a pivotal yet enigmatic chapter in the history of the Old Kingdom. This text delves into the life, reign, and legacy of Pharaoh Qa'a, piecing together historical records, archaeological findings, and scholarly interpretations to provide a comprehensive account of his contributions to ancient Egyptian civilization. Early life and ascension to the throne. Qa''s early life remains shrouded in mystery, typical of many ancient figures whose lives were only partially recorded. Born into the royal family, Qa'a was likely raised within the opulent confines of the royal palace, where he would have been educated in statecraft, religion, and military tactics. His ascension to the throne followed the reign of his predecessor, Pharaoh Semerkhet, whose rule was characterized by internal strife and possibly a brief period of instability. The circumstances surrounding Qa''s rise to power suggest a period of consolidation and restoration. Reign and achievements. Qa''s reign, which is estimated to have lasted approximately 33 years, is marked by significant developments in administration, architecture, and foreign relations. Administrative reforms. One of Qa''s notable achievements was the reorganization of the state administration. He continued the efforts of his predecessors in centralizing the government, thereby enhancing the efficiency of resource distribution and tax collection. Qa'a appointed loyal officials to key positions, ensuring that the administration was firmly under his control. This move not only stabilized the internal affairs of the kingdom, but also strengthened the central authority of the pharaoh, which was crucial for maintaining order and implementing policies. Architectural contributions. Architecturally, Qa'a is credited with continuing the development of the royal necropolis at Abydos, a sacred site dedicated to Osiris, the god of the afterlife. His tomb, known as Tomb Q, is one of the largest and most elaborately constructed of the First Dynasty, featuring a large burial chamber and multiple subsidiary graves for retainers and servants. The construction of his tomb reflects the significant advances in engineering and artistry of the time. The meticulous design and the scale of the tomb underscore the importance of the afterlife in Egyptian culture and the lengths to which a pharaoh would go to ensure their immortality. Foreign relations and military campaigns. Qa''s reign was also marked by efforts to secure and expand Egypt's borders. Although specific records of military campaigns are sparse, evidence suggests that Qa'a maintained Egypt's influence over neighboring regions through both diplomatic and military means. Trade routes were secured, and relations with neighboring states such as Nubia were managed through a combination of trade, diplomacy, and occasional military expeditions. These efforts ensured a steady flow of resources and luxury goods into Egypt, contributing to the kingdom's prosperity. Religious developments. Religion played a central role in Qa''s reign. As a pharaoh, he was considered a divine intermediary between the gods and the people. Qa'a upheld the religious traditions established by his predecessors, performing rituals and building temples to honor the gods. His reign saw the continued development of the religious complex at Abydos, which would later become one of the most important religious sites in ancient Egypt. The promotion of the cult of Osiris during Qa''s reign laid the groundwork for its prominence in later dynasties. The end of Qa''s reign and legacy. The end of Qa''s reign marked the conclusion of the First Dynasty. The transition from his rule to that of the Second Dynasty was relatively smooth, suggesting that Qa'a had established a stable and well-organized state. His successors inherited a kingdom that was administratively sound and territorially secure. Burial and tomb. Qa''s burial at Abydos was a grand affair, befitting a pharaoh of his stature. His tomb, with its impressive size and intricate construction, served not only as his final resting place, but also as a testament to his reign. The subsidiary graves surrounding his tomb indicate the continued practice of retainer sacrifices, a custom that would gradually decline in subsequent dynasties. These burials, alongside Qa'a, were believed to serve the pharaoh in the afterlife, ensuring his eternal dominion. Historical records and legacy. The legacy of Qa'a is preserved through various artifacts and inscriptions. The Palermo stone, an important historical record, mentions Qa'a among the kings of the First Dynasty, providing valuable information about his reign. Additionally, seal impressions bearing his name have been found at Abydos, confirming his association with this significant site. Despite the challenges in piecing together the full narrative of Qas' reign, his contributions to the establishment and consolidation of the early Egyptian state are undeniable. His efforts in administration, architecture, and foreign relations set the stage for the continued prosperity of the Old Kingdom. Qas' reign serves as a bridge between the formative years of the First Dynasty and the more documented and grandiose periods that followed. Qas' tomb, a symbol of eternal power. The tomb of Qa, known as Tomb Q, is a significant archaeological site that provides insights into the funerary practices and architectural advancements of the First Dynasty. Located in the royal necropolis at Abydos, the tomb stands as a testament to Qas' reign and the cultural values of ancient Egypt. Architectural features. Tomb Q is characterized by its large rectangular structure, which includes a central burial chamber and several subsidiary rooms. The burial chamber, designed to house the pharaoh's sarcophagus, is the focal point of the tomb. Constructed from mud brick, the tomb's walls were originally adorned with intricate carvings and paintings, though much of this decoration has not survived the passage of millennia. The subsidiary rooms were likely used to store funerary goods and offerings, which were essential for the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. These goods included pottery, jewelry, and food items, reflecting the belief that the deceased would need these items in the next world. The presence of these rooms indicates a sophisticated understanding of afterlife preparations, which would evolve further in later dynasties. Subsidiary graves. Surrounding Tomb Q are numerous subsidiary graves, which are believed to belong to the retainers and servants who were sacrificed to accompany Qa into the afterlife. This practice, known as retainer sacrifice, was intended to ensure that the pharaoh had a retinue to serve him in the afterlife, reflecting the hierarchical nature of ancient Egyptian society. The inclusion of these graves highlights the significant role of the pharaoh as both a political and religious leader whose needs extended beyond his earthly life. Significance of the tomb. Qa's tomb is not only a reflection of his power and influence, but also a symbol of the religious and cultural practices of early dynastic Egypt. The careful construction and the inclusion of elaborate grave goods indicate a deep reverence for the afterlife and the importance of ensuring the pharaoh's immortality. The tomb's location at Abydos, a site associated with the god Osiris, further emphasizes the connection between the pharaoh and the divine, reinforcing the belief in the pharaoh's divine nature and eternal reign. Archaeological discoveries and interpretations. Archaeological excavations at Abydos have provided valuable insights into Qa's reign and the broader context of the First Dynasty. The discovery of Tomb Q and its contents has shed light on the burial practices, architectural techniques, and social structure of early dynastic Egypt. Excavation history. The tomb of Qa was first excavated in the early 20th century by pioneering Egyptologists, whose work laid the foundation for our understanding of the First Dynasty. These early excavations uncovered the central burial chamber, subsidiary rooms, and surrounding graves, revealing a wealth of artifacts that have since been studied and analyzed by scholars. More recent excavations and advances in archaeological techniques have allowed for a more detailed examination of the tomb and its contents. Radiocarbon dating, for example, has helped to establish a more precise timeline for Qa's reign and the construction of his tomb. Additionally, the use of non-invasive technologies such as ground-penetrating radar has provided new insights into the tomb structure and the layout of the surrounding necropolis. Artifacts and inscriptions. Artifacts discovered in Qa's tomb include a variety of pottery vessels, stone tools, and jewelry, each providing a glimpse into the material culture of the time. These items were carefully crafted and often inscribed with hieroglyphs, offering clues about their purpose and the beliefs of the ancient Egyptians. Inscriptions found within the tomb have been particularly valuable for understanding Qa's reign. These inscriptions include references to Qa's name and titles, as well as records of offerings and rituals performed in his honor. The presence of these inscriptions highlights the importance of written language in documenting and preserving the legacy of the pharaoh. Qa in historical context. To fully appreciate Qa's contributions, it is essential to consider his reign within the broader historical context of the First Dynasty. This period was a time of significant transformation, during which the foundations of the Egyptian state were established and the cultural and religious practices that would define ancient Egypt were developed. The First Dynasty, foundation of the Egyptian state. The First Dynasty marked the beginning of the Pharaonic era, characterized by the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under a centralized government. This unification was traditionally attributed to the legendary King Menes, who is often identified with Narmer, the first pharaoh of the dynasty. Qas' reign represented the culmination of a century of efforts to consolidate power, develop administrative structures, and establish a coherent cultural identity. During the First Dynasty, the pharaohs undertook ambitious building projects, established trade networks, and developed a complex system of governance. These achievements laid the groundwork for the subsequent prosperity of the Old Kingdom, often referred to as the Age of the Pyramids. Qas' contributions to these efforts, particularly in the areas of administration and architecture, were crucial in ensuring the stability and continuity of the early Egyptian state. Religious and cultural developments. Religion and culture played a central role in the First Dynasty, influencing every aspect of life and governance. The pharaoh was regarded as a divine figure, an intermediary between the gods and the people, responsible for maintaining Ma'at, the cosmic order. This divine status was reinforced through elaborate rituals, monumental architecture, and the creation of a pantheon of gods and goddesses. Qas' reign saw the continued development of religious practices and the promotion of key deities such as Osiris, the god of the afterlife, and Horus, the god of kingship. The construction of temples and the performance of rituals were essential in legitimizing the pharaoh's rule and ensuring the favor of the gods. These religious practices would evolve over time, but their origins can be traced back to the foundational efforts of the First Dynasty. Legacy and impact. Qas' legacy extends beyond his contributions to the First Dynasty, influencing subsequent generations and shaping the course of Egyptian history. His reign serves as a bridge between the early formative years of the Egyptian state and the more documented and grandiose periods that followed. Influence on subsequent dynasties. The administrative and architectural advancements made during Qas' reign set a precedent for subsequent dynasties. The centralized government, efficient resource management, and monumental construction projects initiated during the First Dynasty provided a model for later pharaohs to follow. The stability and prosperity achieved under Qas' rule created a foundation upon which the Old Kingdom would flourish. Historical memory and recognition. Despite the challenges in piecing together the full narrative of Qas' reign, his contributions to the establishment and consolidation of the early Egyptian state are undeniable. His name appears in various historical records, including the Palermo Stone and the Abydos King list, ensuring his place in the annals of Egyptian history. These records, along with the archaeological discoveries at Abydos, have preserved Qas' legacy and provided valuable insights into the early dynastic period. Conclusion. Pharaoh Qa'a, the last ruler of Egypt's First Dynasty, played a pivotal role in shaping the early Egyptian state. His reign, marked by significant advancements in administration, architecture, and foreign relations, set the stage for the continued prosperity of the Old Kingdom. Qas' contributions to the development of the Egyptian state, his efforts to maintain religious and cultural traditions, and his enduring legacy in the historical record make him a significant figure in the history of ancient Egypt. Through a detailed examination of Qas' life, reign, and legacy, we gain a deeper understanding of the complexities and achievements of the First Dynasty. Qas' story is a testament to the enduring power and influence of the pharaohs, whose legacy continues to captivate and inspire us thousands of years later. As we uncover more about Qa'a and his time, we come closer to appreciating the rich tapestry of ancient Egyptian civilization and the remarkable individuals who shaped its course.